Before we dive into this incredible story of tactical precision and strategic brilliance, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for IntelX, your source for in-depth military intelligence analysis and untold stories from modern warfare. The clock read precisely 3:25 in the afternoon on August 10, 2025. Deep beneath the surface in Kerson, senior Russian military officials gathered around a conference table, their voices echoing through reinforced concrete corridors. They discussed troop deployments, logistical routes, and tactical adjustments with an air of confidence that comes from believing you're untouchable. After all, meters of earth and steel separated them from the chaos above. But what these commanders didn't realize was that their sanctuary had become their tomb. While they deliberated in what they believed to be complete security, miles away, an American-made F-16 fighting Falcon sat on a makeshift runway, its twin JDAM munitions already loaded, its pilot already briefed. The Ukrainian Air Force had spent months preparing for this single moment, mapping communication arrays, tracking personnel movements, analyzing entry protocols, and waiting for the perfect convergence of intelligence and opportunity. This wasn't going to be a conventional strike. This required surgical precision, nerves of steel, and split-second timing that would leave no room for error. Ukrainian military intelligence had been playing the long game. For weeks, reconnaissance satellites passed overhead, capturing imagery that analysts pored over frame by frame. Communications intercepts revealed patterns, the rhythm of daily operations, the timing of high-level meetings, the vulnerabilities in an otherwise formidable defensive network. The underground command facility in Kerson wasn't just any anchor. It represented a critical node in Russia's command architecture, a place where battalion commanders, operations chiefs, and strategic planners coordinated movements across multiple fronts. Taking it offline would create a cascading failure across the entire regional military structure. But striking such a hardened target required more than firepower. It demanded intelligence that bordered on omniscience. Every antenna cluster had been cataloged, every ventilation shaft mapped, every supply route documented. The Ukrainians knew this facility better than some of its own occupants. The plan was audacious: deliver two 454-kilogram guided bombs directly into an underground complex while evading some of the most sophisticated air defense systems ever deployed. The margin for error? Essentially zero. The munitions selected for this mission weren't ordinary bombs. The GBU-62 JDAM extended range weapons represented the cutting edge of precision strike technology, a marriage of GPS guidance, inertial navigation, and aerodynamic efficiency that could turn a standard bomb into a surgical instrument. Each weapon carried nearly half a ton of explosive force encased in hardened steel. But the genius wasn't in the explosive yield, it was in the delivery system. Wing kits transformed these bombs into glide weapons, extending their release range by dozens of kilometers. This meant the F-16 could launch from relative safety well before entering the kill zone of Russian air defenses. The fuses were set with deliberate calculation, a 1.1-second delay. This wasn't arbitrary. The bombs needed to penetrate through layers of concrete and soil before detonating deep inside the facility. The explosion would occur not on the surface, but within the pressurized chambers themselves, turning the very architecture that was meant to protect the occupants into a weapon against them. The physics were brutal. The blast wave would travel through corridors, collapsing support structures and creating overpressure that human bodies simply cannot withstand. Ventilation systems would become conduits for destruction. The facility would implode from within, leaving only a modest crater on the surface, while the real devastation occurred in the darkness below. At 14:57 hours, final preparations were complete. Two JDAM-ERs hung from the F-16's wing stations. AM-120 air-to-air missiles remained mounted at the wingtips, insurance against any airborne threats. Electronic warfare pods, chaff dispensers, and towed decoy systems were armed and ready. External fuel tanks gave the aircraft the range it needed for the low-altitude penetration profile. The pilot had been briefed extensively on the single most critical aspect of this mission: altitude discipline. He would be flying at 50 to 60 meters above the ground, low enough that the curvature of the Earth itself would shield him from radar detection. At such heights, even the powerful S-300 and S-400 systems that protected Russian airspace had their detection ranges reduced to just 25 to 30 kilometers. This was nap of the Earth flying at its most demanding. Every slight elevation change, every structure, every tree line became a potential threat. The aircraft's flight computer would be working constantly to balance thrust, lift, and control inputs. One miscalculation, one moment of inattention, and the mission would end in catastrophe. At 15:03, the afterburner ignited. The F-16 accelerated down the temporary runway, lifted off, and immediately descended into the terrain masking profile. The pilot's world narrowed to instruments, terrain references, and the constant mental calculation of time, distance, and threat. Meanwhile, high above the border, surveillance drones monitored the target facility in real time. The antenna arrays continued their steady rotation. Service entrances opened and closed on schedule. Everything indicated the meeting was proceeding as intelligence had predicted. 25 high-value targets, all in one location, all vulnerable. The first bomb separated cleanly, its INS locked onto the reference coordinates. GPS receivers remained active, making continuous corrections. A fraction of a second later, the second weapon released. Immediately, the F-16 reversed its climb, pitching forward and diving back toward the protective embrace of low altitude. The pilot pushed the throttle forward, trading altitude for speed, getting back below the radar horizon as quickly as physics would allow. Behind him, the two bombs transitioned to autonomous flight. Wing kits deployed with precision, transforming them from falling objects into guided gliders. They carved through the air, making continuous adjustments based on GPS updates and inertial calculations, homing in on coordinates that had been burned into their mission computers. Underground, the Russian commanders remained oblivious. Their meeting continued. Strategic assessments were debated. Deployment orders were drafted. Security protocols assured them they were beyond reach of Ukrainian capabilities. They were catastrophically wrong. At 15:27, the first JDAM-ER reached its terminal phase. Its trajectory brought it down at a precise 40-degree angle, aimed not at the surface installations but at a point calculated to align with the facility's primary ventilation shaft. The hardened warhead struck reinforced concrete at several hundred meters per second. The delayed fuse counted down its programmed interval, 1.1 seconds, then detonation. The explosion occurred deep within the bunker complex at the heart of the gallery system. The physics were merciless. The blast wave propagated through corridors, compressing air to lethal overpressures. Structural supports fractured. Pressure chambers designed to protect against external threats became compression chambers that amplified the internal devastation. The second bomb arrived moments later, striking with the same calculated precision. This wasn't redundancy. It was choreographed destruction. The first weapon had compromised the structure. The second ensured its complete collapse. Support columns buckled. Floor plates cracked and gave way. Electrical systems shorted and died. Ventilation systems that should have provided escape routes for pressure instead channeled the blast deeper into the facility. The headquarters chamber collapsed inward, levels crushing into one another. 25 Russian military personnel were inside at the moment of impact. Among them were battalion commanders, operations chiefs, ammunition specialists, and planning officers. None survived. There was no time to react, no opportunity to escape. The facility that was supposed to protect them became their grave. The F-16 landed back at its mobile airstrip 17 minutes after takeoff. The pilot broke radio silence only after landing. Pod imagery was immediately transferred to intelligence analysts. Within hours, satellite passes confirmed what the mission planners had hoped. The target had been completely destroyed. But the true impact went far beyond 25 casualties. The Kerson command node had been the central nervous system for Russian operations across multiple fronts. With it gone, a cascading failure rippled through the entire regional military structure. Forward artillery units awaited targeting data that never arrived. Armored formations requested movement permissions that no one was authorized to grant. Logistics convoys sat idle, waiting for orders that would never come. For 8 hours, the Russian military presence in Kerson was effectively paralyzed. For 72 hours, the command vacuum persisted as the Russians struggled to establish alternative command structures, transfer data manually, and rebuild the coordination networks that had been severed in an instant. During that window, Ukraine pressed advantages across 8 separate fronts. Russian units, unable to coordinate effectively, found themselves responding piecemeal to synchronized Ukrainian operations. Some positions received contradictory orders. Others received none at all. The psychological impact was perhaps even more significant than the tactical one. Russian commanders across the theater realized that even their most hardened facilities offered no guaranteed protection. Decision-making processes became more cautious, more centralized. Officers became reluctant to visit forward positions. Headquarters were relocated to sites farther from the front lines, which lengthened communication chains and slowed response times. The weapon of precision had created a climate of fear. The success of this operation fundamentally altered how Ukraine approached air operations. The F-16 program, initially controversial and limited in scope, proved its value in the most dramatic way possible. The aircraft's versatility, its ability to carry precision munitions, operate from austere locations, and penetrate contested airspace, made it an invaluable asset. Ukrainian doctrine evolved rapidly. Mobile basing became standard, with aircraft never remaining at any single location for more than 15 minutes. Fuel supply chains were duplicated and distributed. Software systems received continuous updates to improve targeting speed and accuracy. Pilot training programs incorporated the lessons learned from this mission, emphasizing low-altitude penetration techniques and threat evasion. The JDAM-ER itself proved to be a game-changing weapon. Its combination of extended range, precision guidance, and penetrating capability made it ideal for striking hardened targets that would have required multiple aircraft and weapons in previous conflicts. The delayed fuse option turned it into a bunker buster without the need for specialized penetrator munitions. For Russia, the lesson was equally clear but far more painful. No amount of concrete and steel could guarantee safety. Every hardened facility had vulnerabilities. Ventilation systems, communication arrays, power supplies that could be identified, analyzed, and exploited. The advantage had shifted to the attacker, who possessed superior intelligence and precision strike capabilities. This single mission encapsulates the transformation of modern warfare. Victory no longer belongs simply to whoever fields the largest army or the most armor. It belongs to whoever can integrate intelligence, precision technology, and operational daring into a seamless whole. The strike on Kerson wasn't won in the seconds when the bombs fell. It was won in the months of patient intelligence gathering, the careful analysis of enemy patterns, the technological integration that allowed a single aircraft to deliver effects that would have required entire squadrons in previous wars. It demonstrated that in an age of precision strike, no target is truly safe. Depth provides no protection if your adversary knows where you are and possesses the means to reach you. Hardening facilities becomes pointless if the attacker can identify and exploit the inevitable weak points that every structure must have. Most importantly, it showed that wars are increasingly won not by attrition, but by the systematic destruction of an enemy's ability to command, coordinate, and respond. Take out the command nodes, sever the communication links, disrupt the decision-making processes, and even a numerically superior force becomes ineffective. The F-16 that flew that mission was just one aircraft. The pilot was just one man. The bombs were just two weapons. But together, leveraging intelligence, technology, and tactical excellence, they achieved an effect disproportionate to their size. They didn't just destroy a building and kill 25 people. They paralyzed an entire military command structure and sent shockwaves through enemy decision-making processes that would persist long after the rubble was cleared. When satellite imagery confirmed the destruction, analysts noted the precision with which the strike had been executed. The craters matched exactly the expected impact patterns of JDAM-ER. Munitions with delayed fuses. The blast depth measured precisely 3.2 meters. The internal collapse was complete. But the most important message wasn't in the physical damage, it was in what that damage represented. The vulnerability of conventional military thinking in an age of precision warfare. The Russian commanders who died that day believed they were protected. They believed that layers of concrete and meters of earth made them untouchable. They believed their air defense systems could deny Ukrainian aircraft the access they needed. They were wrong on every count. Modern warfare belongs to those who can integrate intelligence with precision, who can wait patiently for the perfect moment, and who can execute with a level of coordination that leaves nothing to chance. It belongs to those who understand that in an era of smart weapons and persistent surveillance, there is no such thing as a truly hardened target, only targets that haven't been properly analyzed yet. That's the lesson from Kerson. That's the message in the rubble. And that's why this single strike, executed in just 20 minutes on an August afternoon, will be studied in military academies for decades to come. If you found this analysis fascinating and want more deep dives into modern military operations, don't forget to subscribe to IntelX. Hit that like button, share this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest intelligence breakdowns. The future of warfare is being written in real time, and we're here to decode it for you.